Hi, I'm Teacher Michael again, and welcome to Science 9, 4th Quarter, Week 8, Electricity and Magnetism. Electricity and Magnetism. Electricity is vital to mankind in this modern age. Industries use it to make different products that are beneficial to man. So, it is hard for this modern age or modern era to live comfortably without the use of electricity. Because of this electricity, use different products wherein it is manufactured with the use of electricity. We also enjoy its benefits in our homes through our electrical appliances, gadgets, lights, alarm systems, and others. Most of our appliances that we are enjoying to use are using electricity. Electricity has been an integral part of our lives since the time it was discovered. So we are very thankful for the discovery of this electricity because we are enjoying what we are using right now because of the benefits from the electricity. Most of the comforts we enjoy nowadays employ the use of electricity. As you read this text under the light of a lamp, switch on the TV to your favorite program, or plug in your charger to charge your devices, we use electricity. But do you ever imagine how electricity reaches you from where it came from? How is electricity produced? Electricity must be generated from a source, that is a power plant. There are different types of power plants depending on the source of energy that is used to generate electricity. So may iba't ibang uri ng energy at iba't ibang uri ng power plant kung saan ginagamit nila ang mga enerhiya na yon para gumawa ng electricity. For example, a geothermal power plant. Do you still remember we discussed geothermal energy, and with the use of geothermal energy, we can generate electricity through the build of geothermal power plant. A geothermal power plant uses heat from within the earth to produce electricity. Geothermal power plant require high temperature, 300 degrees Fahrenheit to 700 degrees Fahrenheit, hydrothermal resources that come from either dry steam wells or from hot water wells. These resources are used by drilling wells into the earth and then piping steam or hot water to the surface. The hot water or steam drives the generator turbines that produce electricity. When the steam cools, it condenses to water and is injected back into the ground to be used again. So in a geothermal power plant, they uses the geothermal heat or geothermal energy from heat inside the earth. They pump the hot water or the steam from beneath the earth. Okay, so once they pump it, the hot water will become steam because of drop in pressure. The steam, which will serve as the thermal energy, the source of the thermal energy, will spin the turbine. That turbine is connected to the generator that will generate the electricity. Now, the steam that used to spin the turbine will go to the cooling tower to condense and becomes water and be injected back into the ground to be used again. So this is an example of a power plant wherein our electricity came from, or where the electricity is being produced. So this geothermal power plant uses a kind of energy which is geothermal energy. Electricity may be generated from other resources or sources like running water, wind, light, and heat from the sun, and also nuclear reactions and burning fossil fuels. The Philippines, in its quest to sustain its rising economy has stopped variable yet non-conventional energy resources. So may iba't ibang, aside from geothermal energy that can be a source to generate electricity using geothermal power plant, may iba't iba ring power plant na kung saan kumukuha o kung saan bumabase ng ibang uri ng energy. Example, sa running water, sa wind, sa light, heat from the sun, nuclear reactions, and burning fossil fuels. So, these are the following or other power plants in the Philippines that uses other kinds of energy. First is we have the wind turbines in Ilocos. So, they uses the wind to produce electricity using the wind turbine. That wind turbine generate electricity from the moving air or the wind. We also have the hydroelectric power plant in Lanao del Norte. They use the running water from the Maria Cristina Falls to generate electricity. We have solar panels in Negros, and nowadays there are different establishments, companies that are built or putting the solar panels to convert heat coming from the sun to electricity. We also have the nuclear power plant in Bataan. This is the only nuclear power plant in the Philippines, but it is not operational until now. So this nuclear power plant, once it is functioning, the nuclear reaction that happens in a certain atom is being converted to electricity. Then the coal power plant or the fuel diesel power plant. These are some of the power plant in the Philippines which is have in Zambales. So they use coal to produce electricity. So these are the different power plants aside from geothermal power plant that uses different kinds of energy to produce electricity. Now, match the type of power plant with its energy source. Write the letter of the correct answer. So, in the first column, these are the type of power plant, and the second column, these are the energy sources. What you're going to do is to identify the energy sources of these following power plant. Okay, do you think what are the energy sources of those power plants? Okay, so let's start with hydroelectric. What do you think is the energy source of hydroelectric? Okay, that's correct. Letter D. That is flowing water or running water. How about geothermal? Geothermal power plant. What's the energy source? Okay, that is letter F. The heat from earth. How about the solar? What's the energy source of the solar? Nice, that is letter A. That's the heat from the sun. How about the wind? Very good, that's letter B, the moving air. How about the biomass? Biomass, its energy source are the organic waste. They use organic waste to produce electricity. Now we know what's the source of our electricity. For this time, we will know how electricity is being generated in the source, which is the power plant. Previously, it was discussed that electricity can be generated through variety of sources. These sources supply the energies necessary to turn large turbines, which are then connected to a device called generator. This device converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. As I mentioned earlier, the steam spins a turbine. That turbine is connected to a generator, and that generator is the one which generates the electricity. The question is, how is this possible? how is the generator produces electricity. It is made possible by the interaction between the changing magnetic field and a conductor inside the generator assembly. So the generator has a magnetic field and a conductor. A magnet at rest or a conductor at rest cannot produce electric current. So current is induced by either moving the magnet or the conductor. This is another example of power plant. So this is a hydroelectric power plant. So this power plant produces electricity by the means of moving water or flowing water. So this is the flowing water, like in a dam. So the flowing water spins the turbine. That turbine is connected to the generator. So the generator has a magnet and conductor. The generator produces electricity if one of those two components moves, either the magnet or the conductor. So if one of the component, which is the magnet or conductor, moves, then electricity will produce. So this phenomenon was discovered by Michael Faraday and is known as the electromagnetic induction. So Michael Faraday discovered that electricity can be produced through the magnetic field and a conductor. This is a generator of a power plant. This is how a generator, how big a generator is in a power plant. So again, this generator produces electricity. So from the spinning turbine, it is connected where it is connected. That turbine moves either the conductor or the magnet, and that once it moves, or once those two component moves, either the conductor or the magnet, there's already a generation of electricity. Now we know the source of the energy. How is the energy being generated? This time, how does the electricity reach you? Paano ba nakakarating yung electricity na galing sa power plant reach to our houses? After generating electricity in the power plant, it then flows through a large wires connected to a step-up transformer. So from the power plant, the electricity now will flow to the step-up transformer for transmission. So a step-up transformer raises the voltage as high as 756 kilovolts, so it can travel along distances. So the electricity will flow to a transformer steps up voltage, wherein the voltage of the current will have high as 756 kilovolts para mas malayo yung mapupuntahan ng electricity, kasi ang voltahe siya ang magpupush sa current to flow in a longer distance. Now, the current then travels through a transmission power lines going to the substation, where it is lowered down transformer to between 13 kilovolts to 2 kilovolts. From the substation, the electricity is sent to a pole transformer or a transformer box, where it is lowered again to between 240 volts to 120 volts. It is from here where electricity moves into your home through a service box, where your electricity or electric meter is located to measure how much you consume. Wires are around your house take electricity to power your lights and appliances. So again, from the power plant, the electricity will flow to transformer steps up voltage, wherein the electricity or the current has a voltage of 756 kilovolts to flow in a longer distance. Then it will move to the transmission lines. Then it will move to a substation, which is a transformer steps down, kung saan yung current ay pabababain mula 756 kilovolts. Ito ay magiging 13 kilovolts to 2 kilovolts. So from that substation, it will go to the pole transformer or transformer box, where it is lowered again between 240 volts to 120 volts. So from here, electricity comes into our home through a service box, where our electric meter or yung mga contador is located to measure how much we consume. So through the wires in our home, the electricity will be used by our different appliances. Can you trace back the path taken by electricity? For activity 1, trace the path of electricity by arranging the steps chronologically from 1 to 6. Write the number on the space provided before each step. So that is equivalent for 10 points. Copy and answer. So what you're going to do is to write 1 to 6 on those blanks. What you're going to do is to put those statements in order by writing 1 to 6 based on how the electricity being distributed from the power plant to our homes. Now we know the source of energy, how is it generated, or how the electricity being generated, and how the electricity is being distributed. For this time, we can now compute how much energy we use in everyday lives. How much did you or your family pay for electricity this month? Do you have any idea how much electric companies charge your use of electricity? It depends on how much electrical energy used. So depende yun sa energy consumption. Let us find out how. One thing to be considered is how much electric power was consumed. So bawat electrical appliances natin ay may electric power na nakukonsume natin. Aside from electric power consumed, the time of usage of electricity is also considered. Aside sa mga electric power na kung saan meron ang bawat electrical appliances, kailangan din nating malaman kung gaano ba natin katagal ginagamit ang isang electrical appliances. To get the total energy used, multiply the power consumption by the amount of time or duration of use as in the formula below. So to get the energy used or the consumed energy in a certain electrical appliances, we will use the formula E is equal to power times time, or E is equal to P times T, wherein E is the energy used. The unit for energy is kilowatt hour. P is for power, that's the watt, and T is for time in seconds. The unit of measurement for energy used is kilowatt hour, which is 1 kilowatt of power for a period of 1 hour. The electrical energy used in the household is measured by an electric meter o yung mga kontador, which is usually located outside the house for easy access to reading. So let us now try to compute for the energy consumption of a certain appliance in this problem. How much electrical energy is used by a 250 watts refrigerator for 8 hours? If the cost of electricity is 88.32 pesos per kilowatt hour, how much will the use of a refrigerator cost? So the power here is 250 watts of the refrigerator. The power of the refrigerator is 250 watts. and it was used for 8 hours. Tapos, every kilowatt hour, ang babayaran mo ay 8.32 pesos. Okay? So, the problem is looking for the amount of energy used or the energy consumed and kung magkano ang na-consume. So, given R, we have the power 250 watts. Since we are looking for the energy or the energy consumed, and energy consumed, its unit is kilowatt hour, what we're going to do here, the 250 watts will be converted into kilowatt hour. So to get that, what we're going to do is 250, we have to divide 250 to 1000 to get the kilowatt hour, or the kilowatt, the kilowatt of 250. Okay, so to get the kilowatt of 250, we have to divide it to 1000. So 250 divided by 1000, the answer is 0.25 kilowatts. Okay, so our time in the problem is 8 hours. So we are looking for the energy consumed and the costs ng na-consume. Solution, let us first identify the energy. So energy is equal to P times T, or power times time. So let us now substitute the value to the formula. So since we are looking for the power, ang gagamitin natin ay yung 0.25 kilowatt. Okay, so 0.25 kilowatt, that's the power times the time, which is 8 hours. So the energy consumed is 2 kilowatt hour. So 0.25 times 8, or 0.25 kilowatt times 8 hours, the answer is 2 kilowatt hour. So we already know the energy consumed, how much electrical energy is used. Now, we will try to get how much it costs. So cost is equal to cost per kilowatt hour times energy, the energy consumed. So to get the cost, we have to multiply yung cost per kilowatt hour. Magkano ba per kilowatt hour? Based on the problem, it should be 8.32 pesos per kilowatt hour. So that will be the cost per kilowatt hour times the energy, which is 2 kilowatt hour. So substituting the value or the given to the formula, so 8.32 pesos per kilowatt hour times E, our E is 2 kilowatt hour. We have to multiply those values to get the values of costs. So ang babayaran ay cost is 16.64 pesos. Activity number 2. For activity number 2, this will serve as your performance task. Compute for your household's electrical consumption in 1 day. List down all electrical appliances or devices you have at home. Organize them in a table, see sample below, and complete the necessary data. This is equivalent for 20 points. So, for example, you have your appliances, TV, flat iron, and rice cooker. Okay, so the power for TV is 150 watts. Flat iron has a power of 1000 watts, and rice cooker has a power of 200 watts. Ang TV, you use that example only for 10 hours. Flat iron, ginamit mo siya for 1 hour. Rice cooker, ginamit mo siya for 1 hour. So it is only for 1 day. So what you're going to do is to get the energy, okay, the consumed energy in each appliances, and the costs of the energy consumed. So to get this one, what we're going to do, you have to multiply this one. So 150, this power times time to get the value of energy. But before that, what you're going to do is to convert 150 watts into kilowatts. So to get that, we have to divide 150 to 1000. So we will get 0.15 kilowatts. So 0.15 kilowatts times 10 hours, that is equivalent to 1.5 kilowatt hour. Okay, so in this time, in flat iron naman, 1000 divided by 1000 is 1 kilowatt hours. 1 kilowatt times 1 hour, that is 1 kilowatt hour. In rice cooker, 200 divided by 1000 to get the kilowatt. So the answer is 0.2 kilowatts. Multiply into 1 hour, so 0.2 kilowatt times 1 hour, that is 0.2 kilowatt hour. So you already have the value for energy. Now this time, we have to get the value of costs. Okay, so paano ba nakuha yung cost na to? So yung 1.5, so to get the value of cost, so you have to multiply the cost per kilowatt hour times the value of the energy. So magkano ba yung cost per kilowatt hour? So basically, basic cost of electricity is 8.32 pesos per kilowatt hour. So to get the cost, you have to multiply this amount of energy to this peso value. So 1.5 times 8.32 pesos, that is 12.48 pesos. That's the cost for TV. 1 times 8.32, that's the cost. 8.32 is the cost for flat iron. Then 0.2 kilowatt hour times 8.32 per kilowatt hour, that is 1.66 pesos. That's the cost for rice cooking. So you have to get the total. 1.5 plus 1 plus 0.2, that's 2.7 kilowatt hour. You have to get the total of the cost of each appliances. So 12.48 plus 8.32 plus 1.66, the total cost is 222.46 pesos. So that's how you do your performance task. So again, for your performance task, compute for your household's electrical consumption in one day. What you're going to do is to list down all the electrical appliances or devices you have at home, organize them in a table, and complete the necessary data. So for 20 points. So kung ano na yung mga appliances na ginagamit nyo on that day, ilagay dito, ilagay ang power, ang time, kung gaano siya katinagal on that day, compute for the energy, and compute for the value of cost. Get the total of energy and get the total of cost. For you to have an idea regarding the power of each appliances, let us take a look in this following slide. Here are the list of power or wattage of different appliances. So these are the value of watts of each appliances. So we have the cooling equipment. So these are their watts. Reminder, this is watts. So you have to convert it into kilowatts for you to be able to get the value of energy. Okay, so divide it always to 1000. So this is the entertainment systems and their equivalent power in watts. These are the other household appliances such as a flat iron, clothes dryer, then water heater, and their value of their power in watts. The lighting fixtures, mga ilaw, so and their value of power in watts. And we also have the cooking equipment and the value of their power in watts. The kitchen appliances, those appliances that uses electricity in kitchen, and the value of their power in watts, and the computers. So what you're going to do is to do the activity 1 and the activity 2, which is your performance task. The equivalent total points is 30 points. Good luck! Thank you for watching and listening. Have a nice day.